false flag attacks with Iran, with these oil tankers. Excuse me, Trump, I thought we were going to, bring our troops home and stop meddling in the affairs of other countries. Don't worry, we'll get out of those things eventually, says Trump. Trump is making relations with Russia worse and worse. Excuse me, Trump, I thought that you and Putin were going to get along like good buddies. I thought that y'all were cool. Don't worry, we have a good relationship, says Trump. Trump is still allowing many illegals to stay in this country and has not ended the birthright citizenship. Excuse me, Trump, why are we allowing so many illegals to stay and enter this country? Oh, why haven't you stopped the birthright citizenship? Don't worry, he says, we're building the wall. And notice how this week Trump has really announced, next week we're going to really start hammering down on those illegals. Notice the timing of that. It's the timing of his starting his next campaign for his second term, which he most likely will win. Trump has failed to cut funding for sanctuary cities. Excuse me, Trump, I thought that you were against sanctuary cities, right? Trump says, I am, but, we're still giving them funding, but I'm against them. Also, Trump is doing a lot of things that are not very anti-establishment. Trump has started to ease regulations on GMO crops and even GM animals. That's not very anti-establishment last time I checked. GMOs are absolutely terrible for your health. But Trump is easing the regulations. He's helping corrupt the food supply of this country. Trump fully supports the LGBT agenda, but actually, he always has. He never really spoke against the LGBT agenda. He could pretend to be a lot of things, but he never could quite pretend to be anti-LGBT, could he? He's always been pro-LGBT. That's an abomination. That's abominable. Trump is enabling the installment of 5G towers all throughout this country to the place of jeopardizing many people's and children's health. Doesn't sound very anti-establishment to me. The NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, which I think came around 2011 with Obama, Trump has done nothing to stop that. It's still in place. Trump hasn't put that away. What is the NDAA? I'll read just a quick summary of what it is. It's property confiscation without due process of law. It was prescribed by the Fifth Amendment. It's imprisonment without trial. It is illegal search and seizure, which is supposedly prevented by our Fourth Amendment. It's the extermination of an entire kind, any kind, without due process of law. It is the elimination of our First Amendment protections for religion, free speech, and the right to peaceably assemble. Again, this law has been in the books since 2011. What has Trump done, this anti-establishment president? This president who's not bought and paid for. This president who's not a globalist, who's not one of them. What has he done to stop that? Nothing. Look, guys, don't buy into the controlled opposition of sites like InfoWars with Alex Jones or your beloved Fox News. Don't buy into the controlled opposition. Those sites are praising Trump. They're very busy praising and defending Trump, defending a lot of what he's doing despite all of the obvious warning signs that we're seeing as they supposedly oppose all the bad, evil liberals. I'm not liberal. I'm very conservative. But don't buy into the controlled opposition. It's a farce. It's a game. You know what they're doing? As part of the controlled opposition, sites like InfoWars, Fox News, and others like them, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're playing a part to oppose the Democratic liberal side while they praise and support Trump. And guess what they're doing? Just like the Uber driver was buying time, these people and the sites, these news and media outlets, they're helping Trump to buy time. They're buying time. How, might you ask? By giving all the conservatives and Christians a false hope and a false sense of security. So that eventually, someday in the not too distant future, Trump will prevail. That's what they're saying. Someday in the not too distant future, Trump will prevail. Trump will make America great again. He'll have his second term. It's all a sham. It's all a farce. They're buying Trump more and more time to quell, to pacify the concerns of Americans, of conservatives, of Christians, by giving them a false hope. You see, if the passenger of the Uber car would have known from the very beginning that the driver is evil and had a bad plan to take him somewhere to hurt him and kill him, the passenger would have jumped out of the car at the very beginning or done something else, maybe even struggled with the driver. But through the false sense of security, the passenger was given, through the false sense of security that the passenger was given. And despite all the warning signs and uneasy feelings he was having, through the false sense of reassuring him that he was on the right way, the passenger was pacified. He was a pacified passenger. And the Uber driver was able to buy more and more time to get that passenger away from his home, away from his desired destination, to a terrible place. If the American people as a whole do not wake up, don't realize that Trump is a big phony and that he is one of them, he is a globalist, he's absolutely establishment, there might be some kind of revolution that might spring up, some kind of uprising of the populace. The government will do everything that it can to prevent that. So the government is very well able to put down any resistance of the American people, especially with the aid of foreign troops, UN troops. But the thing is they don't want to have to do that if they don't have to. They don't want to do that if they don't have to. They would much rather lull the people to sleep and have a kind of progressive, somewhat peaceful, seamless transition with the least amount of resistance from the people as possible. That's why there's so much psychological warfare and programming going on in the media, entertainment, places of education, and in the churches, including the controlled opposition that I mentioned previously. They're wanting to dumb down the people, get them to be so complacent and ignorant that they won't even have to fight the people. That's what the government wants. It saddens me to see people in conservative news sites asking questions about Trump. It saddens me when they ask questions like, why hasn't Trump done anything about this? Why doesn't Trump do anything about so-and-so? What's taking him so long? Why didn't he do this instead? Why didn't he do that? As if Trump really has good intentions and is just having a hard time, executing his agenda. As if he's just having a really hard time and, he's just facing so much opposition. Poor Trump. He has such good intentions, but poor Trump. He's just facing so much opposition. It saddens me when I see so many people seeing the warning signs going on, but still not putting two and two together. Still not realizing that Trump does not have good intentions. So many people are seeing the warning signs. I know I'm not the only one. So many people are seeing what's going on in this country that we are on the opposite direction. We're going the opposite direction. We're not going down a good path. But because of the